there's so much talking.
There is a lot of talking, and a lot of the talking is just we're giving instructions again.
Yeah, or Rodney being like, here's the thing I told you I was going to do, now I've done it.
Welcome to Stargatesing, a Stargate gazing podcast. I'm your host, Mary.
And I'm your other host, Kathy.
And each week we review an episode of Stargate alternating between SG-1 and Atlantis. Hello. How's it going?
It's going all right. How are you?
Just fine.
Excellent. How's life?
Long time no talk.
No talk?
I said long time no talk.
Oh, yes. Long time no talk.
Having just recorded the last episode 10 minutes ago.
What's gone on in your life in the last 10 minutes?
I walked around a bit. I went downstairs and took some vitamins.
Nice.
I put my watch on the charger.
Sweet. That was very productive.
I used the bathroom. I think that's about everything. I drank some more water because, of course, I took vitamins, so I drank some water with that.
Nice.
And, I put my can of seltzer in the recycle bin.
Excellent.
Because I had finished it. Yeah. How about you?
I had some water, went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. I sat down and was reading about one of my ancestors' children's spouses assaulting someone in a bar in the 1930s.
Ew.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. So that was good times.
Neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times. Oh, I pet Coconut for a little bit.
Oh, nice. Oh, I did pet Lucille too. Yeah.
Excellent.
And then he was like, I'm going to attack you now. And I was like, this is over.
Coconut did not do that, although she did almost roll off the couch because she was leaning against my legs while I was petting her tummy because she loves her tummy pet so much. But when she rolled over towards me so that I could pet her tummy, then I was standing right there and I tried to shove her back towards the couch so that she wouldn't roll off of it when I walked away. But as soon as I did that, she tried to roll back on her back again. And I was like, no, puppy.
Oh,
you will fall on the floor and it would be sad. But she didn't.
Good.
Yeah. It's been an exciting 10 minutes or so.
Yes. So, shall we, I'm trying to think if I have a segue. More exciting 10 minutes ahead? Do you think the people on Atlantis had exciting 10 minutes?
Do we think they've had an exciting 10 minutes since they left off with this 2-part episode?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Probably, yeah. There's a lot of work and a lot of planning they got to do. And
it's true. Yeah. They got to do their heist. So, that takes at least 10 minutes of planning or so.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what is this episode, then, that we are going to talk about just after we talked about the last episode? Even though this will be a week later by the time this comes out.
This is Stargate Atlantis, Season 4, Episode 2, Part 3, Lifeline.
Part 3.
Lifeline.
And this one also starts with a recap. It basically was a recap of a recap, because it started with a recap of the recap from last episode. But then after that, Dr. Weir has brain damage and the city is damaged. Then there's the oddly dense asteroid belt. Weir's nanites are reactivated. Rodney and Shepard are going to pull a heist to steal ZPMs from the replicator homeworld. Dun, dun, dun. And recap.
Good job.
Thank you.
We start in the jumper bay, where Rodney and Zelenka are working on trying to get the hyperdrive on one of the puddle jumpers to work. Shepard comes to check on them. Rodney said they'd be making more progress if Timmy Torture wasn't trying to kill him every 2 seconds. Zelenka says he's not trying to kill him. So Shepard's like, cool, but is this going to work? Rodney says he thinks so. They're still trying to work something out, though, with their fake science. Rodney does say even if he does get it working, there could be other things, many things, that could go terribly wrong.
Indeed.
Shepard's like, yeah, cool, I know. Long odds, whatever, we're all about to die, so maybe we do this? Shepard says there is another problem he's been thinking about.
What seems to be your boggle?
What do they do when they get there? It's all cool, well and good, they can get the ship working and get to the city, but how are they actually gonna get the ZPM? Rodney thinks they have a good chance of succeeding with the help of someone else. Someone. And then Shepard goes to see Dr. Weir in the infirmary and asks her if she feels like taking a trip.
And then credits.
Yeah.
Much sooner this time than last time.
Yes. That felt so sudden.
A long time until credits last episode. And then after credits, we're still in the infirmary with Dr. Weir. Rodney is there too, and they're talking about the nanites that she has. If they are in close enough proximity to the replicator city, Rodney thinks that he can manipulate them to hack into the mainframe.
No way. I'm getting hacked.
There. So that's cool. And they could use that to then find the closest ZPM, as well as the easiest way to get it and the quickest way back out. Not only that, but they'd be able to track all of the replicator movements so that they could figure out when and if they were about to be discovered. So what could go wrong? Teyla does point out that this does not eliminate the danger, but it does significantly reduce it at least and gives them an advantage of some sort. Dr. Weir is not surprisingly worried and wants to know what happens if the replicators manage to take control of the nanites in her, but Rodney says that they won't. He is very confident that he'll block any attempt, but she's insistent, what if they do? So Shepard tells her that Rodney has been ordered to write a kill switch, and so if triggered, that will neutralize all of the nanites, and that would basically instantly kill Dr. Weir, but also neutralize all of the nanites. But everyone assures her that that's not going to happen. Everything's going to be fine, and they're all going to be keeping an eye on the nanites and Dr. Weir. Everything's going to be great. Rodney assures Dr. Weir that really this is the only chance they have, because if they don't get a ZPM, everybody in the city is going to die. And so before he actually even finishes that sentence, Dr. Weir asks, when do we leave? So of course she's on board if it is for the greater good.
The greater good.
Indeed.
Shepard says, right now. Rodney is terrified by that answer. He's not at all ready. He's got all kinds of preparatory work and stuff that he needs to do, and Shepard walks away and just tells him to finalize it because we need to go. Time to go. And Dr. Weir again insists that if anything suspicious happens, if she herself does anything weird, don't hesitate to use the kill switch. But Shepard assures her that's not going to happen. Not that he wouldn't use the kill switch, but that he doesn't think they'll need the kill switch.
Yeah. Shepard leaves and catches up with Teyla and asks her to sit this out. Because if they're all gone, who will lead the city? I guess is basically it.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. There isn't really anyone else that would be good to put in charge.
Yeah. He tells her that Zelenka may have found a planet that could sustain human life, and the ship could get there in one jump, I guess on that 50-50 chance thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So they might all die, or
Right.
they might find some place to live where they'll need Teyla to show them the way.
This is the way.
Yeah.
If it comes to that.
Yeah.
And he tells her, if they're not back in 12 hours, do it. And does not leave her any chance to object further.
Nope.
Do it.
Then we're in the jumper bay. Rodney and Zelenka are there working on a jumper to get it ready for the trip. They are, of course, bickering as usual as they're trying to do whatever work needs to be done to get this thing ready. But they've got it. They've got the hyperdrive online, and everything seems good. As long as they don't use up all of their power on the initial jump. It would be nice if they could test it first, but they're not going to have a chance to test it. They need to leave right away. Zelenka is apparently not going to be going with them, so he heads out. Rodney tells Ronan and Shepard when they get there that he's still not 100% sure that this is going to work and that it's ready, but it's time to go. Ronan tells Shepard, yep, it's time to go. We're ready. Despite what Rodney has just said. Shepard on the radio, worth pointing out. He's not actually there yet because he's about to escort Weir through the halls with a bunch of security as well on their way to the ship.
Yep.
Once Shepard and Weir get there and they're all ready to go, they let Teyla know. She orders that the jumper bay doors be open, and they take off, telling Teyla no wild parties while they're gone.
They might as well have a wild party if they're all going to die. God.
Right? Seriously. Yeah. Once they are out of the bay and out into space, Shepard asks Rodney if he is ready. Rodney once again says, you know, this still might not work. Or we could drop out of hyperspace prematurely or go on a list of other things that could go wrong. But he gets cut off by Ronan, who tells him to just answer the question. And Rodney's like, yeah, sure, we're ready.
Traveling through hyperspace in like dust and crops, boy.
Shepard counts down and they jump into hyperspace.
Yep. Yay, they didn't explode.
Yay. Yep.
First hurdle done.
Yeah. We don't know what happens after they go into
That's
hyperspace,
true.
but for now they're fine.
Yeah. Then we are somewhere else on a lush green planet with a Stargate. Sam and Dr. Lee come through the Stargate. And Dr. Lee is very impressed with the scenery.
He is.
He says it's like Elwyn Forest from World of Warcraft. I will take his word for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Never played.
He never gets off world, he says, so he's just really trying to take this in and enjoy it. Sam says, take a picture because we're not going to be here very long, so he futzes around with his camera. However, he doesn't have enough time to even take a picture before Sam contacts the Apollo and they're beamed off planet. Because as we saw, Ellis does not stand for hesitation, he just does the beaming.
Indeed.
He gets up just in time to take a selfie in the Apollo. Womp womp. Ellis welcomes them. They have not heard anything from Atlantis. They discuss the changes that Sam and Lee want to make to the Apollo for them to be able to find Atlantis. It doesn't take much convincing for Ellis to be like, yeah, this is fine. Lee accidentally takes another picture. The flash goes off and Sam hits him. And that's our comic relief here. Yep. And they go to do work.
Yeah. And then we're back out in space watching the puddle jumper come out of hyperspace at the replicator planet. So the hyperdrive worked. They have made it.
Woohoo.
But unfortunately, it used more power than Rodney expected. Believe it or not, Zelenka was actually right, he says. So they don't actually have enough power to get back. So that's bad. But, maybe if they have a ZPM, they can do something. Nobody really wants to hear about that right now, though, because they're all focused on what is coming up next. So first things first. Rodney has to go and make the initial link, basically using Dr. Weir like a modem, I guess. She asks what Rodney needs her to do, and she says nothing, just sit there. Let me know if anything pops into your mind. And then all of a sudden we see, I don't know, weird computer-generated images of blue background and text, like Atlantis type style text. I don't know how to explain it. It's weird, but Dr. Weir is seeing stuff.
Gigabyte of RAM should do the trick. We're in.
And as Rodney continues to work, those various random shapes that kind of look like letters start to form into the shapes of buildings and whatnot. And she tells everyone she feels very strange, but she can see the entire city directly in front of her. And she means the entire thing, every corridor, every single room. So even as they are cloaked and flying towards the city, she can see into all of the buildings, including where all the people are. And she points to the building that has a ZPM, fourth quadrant, top level, easy access, and hardly anyone around.
Oh.
Convenient.
Yes.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
So they head in, and they land on the roof. Everybody gets out. Rodney is going to stay there in the jumper with Dr. Weir, while Shepard and Ronan go off in search of the ZPM, and they're going to keep in contact by radio. Dr. Weir tells them where to go and each turn that they need to take, what flights of stairs, all of that as they go sneaking through the building. Weir tells them to pause when there are replicators walking by, so it's working pretty great.
Yeah.
When the replicator walks by, Dr. Weir tells them it's fine, he didn't see you. Rodney is surprised to know that she knows that, and Dr. Weir confirms, like I said, it's very strange. So she gives them the go-ahead, and they continue on. And then they finally make it to the room that has a ZPM. Shepard asks, won't they notice when we pull this thing out? Rodney says they probably have dozens of ZPMs, so eventually they'll notice it, but hopefully not right away. Hopefully not until they're long gone.
Hopefully.
You'd think they might want to try to take a couple,
Yeah.
but I guess they want to try to be as quick as possible. So they're just going to go for this one. Shepard asks if they're still in the clear. Dr. Weir, though, says that there is a small group of replicators 2 corridors over, heading their way. So yes, but go fast. They manage to get the ZPM out of its little holder thingy. Ronan packs it away, and then they head out. They are running back this time and make their way all the way back to the puddle jumper. So this was a surprisingly simple heist so far.
Yes.
They hook the ZPM up to the puddle jumper so that they can use its power to help them get out of there. But Rodney says, wait, nope, we can't go. And it's not because the hyperdrive won't get back online. It's because as Dr. Weir has been connected to the whole replicator cloud, he's found this. And he shows them the screen, and nobody knows what it is. But he explains that it is the Holy Grail. It is the command code that directs the replicators to attack the Wraith, which was supposed to be their whole purpose for being created to begin with. but that the ancients, for whatever reason, turned off or deactivated, even though they don't know exactly why.
I had assumed that the replicators turned it off themselves, but...
Yeah, that's what I had thought too, but here they're saying maybe the ancients did it when they realized they couldn't control them. So, but why they would try to turn that off, that still doesn't make any sense. But that's what he says. So, yeah, this is just one in millions of commands of base code, but he's always had a hunch that there's got to be something like this. Dr. Weir asks if he can reactivate it, and yes, probably, but it's going to take some work, unfortunately, a fair bit of work. And as soon as that happens, they're going to know that Dr. Weir is there. They're going to know that all of them is there. So they're going to start trying immediately to assimilate Dr. Weir once he does manage to reactivate that code. Shepard says, nope, it's not happening. But Dr. Weir tells him it's not his call. So they have a bit of back and forth about who is actually in charge right now, since Dr. Weir is semi-incapacitated. But then Rodney found something else he can do. He says that there's a central data core, which is basically like a backup hard drive, so he can just upload the reactivated command to that, and then when everybody syncs to that, they can be long gone at that point. Shepard likes that plan. But, of course, there's a problem with that one also, and it's because that core is in the center of the city, pretty far down. They cannot reach it from where they are, and it would be pretty much impossible to get there without being detected. So Shepard thinks that they should just get out of there now and worry about that stuff later, but Rodney says no, this is their only chance, so they've got to figure out some way to make this work. After a good amount of back and forth and planning and trying to figure out what to do,
let's not bicker and argue about who killed who.
They decide that they are going to turn their shield into an anti-replicator field to try to protect them on their way down, basically. Shepard says he's going to go on his own. Rodney doesn't like that idea, and of course Dr. Weir doesn't either. Well, Shepard's going to go with Ronan, I should say. And they're going to guide him and Ronan via the radio, just like last time. Rodney tries to argue a few more times that really he needs to be down there so that he can do the whole uploading, and Dr. Weir says the part that Shepard is trying to not say, which is that someone needs to keep an eye on Dr. Weir. She can't come in with them because that would be too much of a liability, but someone's got to stay here and watch her. So Rodney agrees. He's going to give Shepard what he needs to do it himself, and he's going to stay here and keep an eye on Dr. Weir. So they head out.
Yeah. Then we're back on the Apollo, where Sam and Dr. Lee have implemented the changes, and they have commenced their jump and scan plan to try to find Atlantis out in the middle of nowhere in the Pegasus galaxy. So far, they've not found anything in 11 jumps. Sam says even with the increased range of the scanners, they've only so far covered a small area. And they have 39 more jumps to go. Because space is big.
You just won't believe how vastly, hugely, mind-bogglingly big it is.
And they continue to do their jumps. Then we are back with the team on the replicator planet. Rodney turns on the anti-replicator field. Things are moving quickly in this episode.
They are.
And we see this field activate. And it does encompass not just the ship, but they are able to increase the range to cover most of the building, it looks like, too.
Yeah.
And we see some replicators just fall apart.
Yep. I really like that effect.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I enjoy it as much as I do.
So Rodney gives Shepard the go-ahead. Shepard takes a moment to get Weir to confirm it's working before he goes. Rodney hands off the device that Shepard is going to plug in to change the code. Then Shepard and Ronan are off.
And then we're somewhere else in some control room. Oberoth is there, and some technician comes over to tell him that there is an anomalous energy reading in one of the communications towers. So that seems not great. They don't know what it is yet, but it's creating a very disruptive field emanating downwards from the top level. So, of course, we all know what that is.
Yep.
And Oberoth realizes, the core is in that area.
The tower, Rapunzel!
Then we're back briefly with Shepard radioing to Dr. Weir. She's continuing to give him instructions, and they are continuing to wander through the hallways. Shepard continues to try to confirm that the shield is still working, and it is. But they need to make sure that they don't wander on the wrong side of the shield if they run into the border of it anywhere. And then they make their way to the core room. So another surprisingly quick trip. Rodney gives Shepard the instructions for how to access the control panel and how to plug into the cable to connect the tablet to make all of that part of the plan work. But after it's plugged in, Rodney is not reading anything. He asks Shepard if he's sure he plugged it into the right slot. But Shepard says there is only one slot. Weir notices that there are replicators coming, hundreds of them this time, so that's not good. And Ronan asks, won't the shield protect us? It will, but they gotta hurry. They need to get this job done. So they have a bit more back and forth about trying to basically just troubleshoot the thing and get the tablet to connect properly to the core. What a shock that this type of technology from Atlantis that is originally from Earth isn't working with this type of completely different technology, but here we are. Have they even happened to have the right cable that would work? I don't even know. But
I wonder if they just assume whatever works with Atlantis will work here because the replicators are like the ancients.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right. But that would be silly. Wouldn't the replicators maybe we should change our plug. Also, why do they need a plug anyway when they can just stick their hands in things?
True. And also, again, these replicators have been able to exist for 10,000 years after the Atlantis people. Would they not have tried to upgrade their technology in all that time? Make changes?
Right? I mean, think about how frequently Apple changes their charging cables to, various types of actual plugs and outlets and USB-C and lightning cables and all of that. And that's just been in a few years. Right. So I am still unconvinced that this technology would work together. Yeah. But here we are. The replicators reach the shield and they keep attacking it. So literally just walking into it, deliberately sacrificing themselves, Dr. Weir says. And when Ronan asks why they would do that, it is because they are trying to figure out how to override it. The more people they send into it, the more replicator fake people, beings, whatever you want to call them, walk into it. Apparently that makes it easier for them to figure out how to override it.
Sure.
Rodney ultimately figures out that the core is just not recognizing the tablet. So shocking. Yeah. Rodney doesn't know why, though. It's because they're different technologies.
Yep.
It's like back when floppy disks used to be a thing. And if you had them formatted for Windows, you couldn't use them on a Mac machine or vice versa.
Yeah. I think at one point I had floppy disks that were formatted to a word processor before I got a computer, and you could not use it just plug it into the computer and use it. No.
It would not work.
Nope. Never recovered those files because I don't even know what format they were in.
I can do that.
Nope.
Also, that was 30 years ago or whatever.
Right. So still completely useless.
Yeah. I hope I still don't have them, but I haven't finished going through my mother's crap, which could include stuff from that long ago that I had.
Fair.
We'll see.
Back in the control room, the technician tells Oberoth that they're almost through the field. So Oberoth is like, great, I'm on my way. He's going to head down to the core, presumably. Rodney continues to try to help. There is a lot of troubleshooting.
Yeah.
Between Rodney and Shepard trying to make this thing work.
I like that Shepard complains it's not simple.
Yeah. Rodney says it's simple. Yeah. Shepard keeps telling him, no, it is really not that simple. And then we see out in a hallway somewhere a replicator slowly walking through the shield and surviving.
Uh-oh.
And then a bunch more follow him. Dr. Weir realizes this and is horrified, tells Rodney they need to get them out of there now. But Rodney says they're not done. She says there's no more time. She does tell them that the replicators have breached the field, which is horrifying to everyone because they didn't think that was going to be a thing that could happen, I guess.
Yep.
And worse, Dr. Weir realizes that Oberoth is heading to the core room and he knows it's them. Rodney asks if Shepard and Ronan can make a run for it, but no, the replicators are coming in from all directions now. They're completely trapped, which Rodney says means they're as good as dead, but the radio is open, so Shepard tells him, we can hear you. Rodney's like, when I say as good as dead, but he just continues to stumble over his words. And then Dr. Weir runs out of the jumper.
Uh-oh.
Rodney is horrified and asks where she's going. She just tells him to stay here and doesn't say anything more than that. So Shepard, of course, wants to know what's going on because they still have an open radio. He tells her that Dr. Weir left the jumper with no explanation and that she just ran out. She's not answering when they try to radio to her. So unfortunately, they all come to the conclusion that it is time for the kill switch. They only very briefly debate it But she did say if she does anything suspicious, which this would be, Ronan tells Shepard to make the call. Rodney also wants Shepard to make the call. Shepard makes the call. Rodney executes the command, and it beeps and doesn't work and gives him an error message.
Womp womp.
Yep, so.
Please! God damn it! I hate this hacking crap.
Tries it again. It's still not working. He's not getting confirmation. He doesn't know why. He thinks that maybe Dr. Weir has figured out a way to actually block it herself, or maybe there's just too much interference going on at that particular frequency right now. He doesn't know. He would need to run a diagnostic, and they've obviously got other things that they are trying to deal with at the moment.
Then we see Oberoth walking through the corridors, and he runs into Dr. Weir, and she sticks her hand right in his head.
Ta! Turnabout is fair play.
Exactly.
You had it coming.
And then we're inside Oberoth's head. The two of them are standing there talking.
I thought it was an interesting scene, the way that they lit it. It was basically just the two of them in profile.
Yeah.
But just the silhouettes, they were backlit, so all you could see was the outline of each of them.
Yeah. Oberoth is surprised that Weir is there and full of nanites. He can detect them, he says, now. And she says, haha, we neutralized them and reprogrammed them, and we are using them to suit our needs. Screw you, replicators. And now that I've touched you, I have direct access, she says, to the Replicator Collective. And she's in control. And this does seem to concern Oberoth a bit.
It does. He does look rather terrified. Which is somehow satisfying.
Yeah. Then we're back with Shepard, who reports he's plugged in the device yet again. And finally, the troubleshooting and the futzing have worked.
Oh, you have to say,
Yay! But unfortunately, replicators start coming at them. But they freeze, which is good. And they're like, who did that? And Rodney's like, I'm guessing Elizabeth. Ronan wants to know, can she do that? And Rodney's like, how the hell do I know?
So it would seem.
So Shepard then asks how long they have before the replicators unfreeze. Again, how would Rodney know that? But
right.
Let's get the hell out of here, please. Fast.
Yeah. I appreciated that while this conversation was happening, Ronan was going around and removing all of their weapons.
Yeah, that was good, yeah. And then Rodney says it's just going to be a few more seconds before they're finished with their upload so they can get the hell out of there then. Shepard asks how many seconds, and yet again, Rodney is like, no, I'm not playing this game.
Then we're back in Oberoth's mind again. He is impressed by how strong Dr. Weir is, but it's only a matter of time until he manages to take over her nanites, and she's not going to have a hold on him forever, but she's going to fight as long as she needs to. And he's arrogant, and that's going to undermine him.
Your overconfidence is your weakness.
But he says he can feel her weakening already, and she does start to look worried. Then we're back in the core room, and the thing is done. Huzzah!
Woo!
Unplug and go. So they do. They make a run for it, passing a bunch of replicators that are still frozen. And then back in Oberoth's brain, Dr. Weir is starting to struggle, and Oberoth manages to grab her arm in his mind and in reality, apparently, and tells her that she's underestimated him. Back out in the hall, Shepard and Ronan are continuing to run for it, but then the frozen replicators start moving again. They pull weapons on Rodney in the jumper because they've come out of nowhere to surprise him over there.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Shepard and Ronan are being chased by them and run around a corner, and there's a bunch of replicators waiting for them there, so there's a standoff over there. Things are not looking great.
No. They've all been captured.
Yeah.
Then they're in a cell. Oberoth comes in, just like old times.
Yeah.
They want to know where Dr. Weir is, and Oberoth tells her that she's been taken for repairs because her system was overtaxed. He tells them they've already taken control of her. He, however, could not get the information he needed, so he's got to go stick his hand in their heads for a bit. Where Atlantis currently is, because they still want to go after that.
Yeah.
So Oberoth sticks his hand in Shepard's head, but it doesn't seem to be working. Shepard goes, problems? ? And in the background, Rodney and Ronan are smirking and practically laughing at Oberoth.
Yep.
And Shepard then becomes Dr. Weir. Fake out! This has all been in Overall's head.
It's all been a ruse.
Yes.
Orchestrated by Dr. Weir.
That's right.
Yes.
Turnabout.
She figures that the replicators messed with all of their minds, so she's going to mess with Oberoth's.
Yeah.
He didn't overpower her at all. So everything that we just saw was not actually real. The replicators did not capture any of her team. She says the entire scenario was fake. All of the guards are still frozen, and the team is escaping as she speaks. So he was wrong.
Suck it, nerd.
She says that she's never underestimated him, but clearly he underestimated her. He tells her that she's never going to leave the city alive, and she says, yeah, maybe not, but the team will, so that's really what matters to her.
You sly dog! You got me monologuing!
Shepard and Ronan are, for real this time, running through the replicator city. Shepard's on the Rodney with radio saying they haven't heard from Elizabeth, and they can't track her. She just disappeared from the network somehow. They assume that if she froze the replicator, she's probably still alive, so maybe they can find her. And then we're back with Oberoth and Weir. They're just having a standoff without weapons, just with their replicator powers.
Yep.
Yeah. This time he does manage to grab her arm for realsies. Shepard and Ronan, though, arrive to take out Oberoth, but Weir orders them to leave her there and just go back to the jumper. And she cannot keep everybody frozen for much longer. Shepard tries to argue with her, but she is like, nope, it's too late. You gotta go. I'm ordering you. So they do finally give in and leave her there. And they make it back to the jumper.
They do. Once they get there, Rodney is very relieved, but he does want to know where Dr. Weir is and is not pleased to learn that they're going to be leaving without her. Shepard asks if they can cloak yet, but no, they cannot because they've drained too much power trying to use it as an anti-replicator shield, so he's got to go back to trying to interface with the ZPM, which he says is going to take a bit of time, so they're going to have to make a run for it even without their cloaks. So we see the jumper lifting off. Shepard asks Rodney how the hyperspace is looking, and that's also not going to be happening yet because harnessing the power from the ZPM is tricky because the ZPM is super powerful, way more power than the jumper actually needs. Shepard says that there are 2 ships heading their way, so that seems like it could be very bad. There's a few explosions, and they've lost their weapons, so that also seems very bad. Rodney is continuing to try to calibrate the power so that they can actually use it without overpowering all of the systems on the ship. He doesn't want them to incinerate the moment the hyperspace window opens. That seems like it would be very bad. And then Shepard picks up yet another thing, dead ahead, and a replicator jumper uncloaks right in front of them, blocking their path. So basically they're surrounded.
They're all around us, man.
Weapons are being powered up by every other ship, but the jumper still does not have any weapons. But then all of a sudden, the ship in front of them is attacked. And they don't know what it was attacked by. They can't see what fired on it. But then Ellis comes on the comms.
Woo!
It's the Apollo. They're just in time. He has a 302 bay open for them, and he's got them covered while they make their escape.
Huzzah!
He suggests that they hurry.
This escape here made me wonder what the point of starting this little war with the replicators was all about, since they clearly still have giant ships.
Right.
Could they have not put hyperdrives on those giant ships and continue? Instead of just destroying the ones that were being built? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. No.
Nope.
But in any case, as the puddle jumper is on its way back to the 302 bay, Sam gets on and says that they would have been there earlier, but they had a little trouble finding Atlantis. And Rodney, of course, is delighted to find out that Sam is there, and she'll explain in more detail about everything that's been happening once they get them on board. Shepard tells them that they lost Dr. Weir on the replicator planet and ask if they can find her locator beacon, but Sam is not picking up any kind of a signal.
Womp womp.
Indeed.
Next thing we know, we're in Atlantis. Yay!
Yay!
Yeah. They are talking about the planet they found to bring Atlantis to. They needed to find one that Dr. Weir did not know about, since the replicators now have her. And now they won't be able to follow. So, yay. It's got a big ocean, so they can still land in the ocean. There is a venomous snake-like creature on the mainland. Other than that, though, looks good.
Yeah.
So they're going to do that. Zelenka's got the ZPM online, so Atlantis is ready to fly again. And it does. And then we're at the planet. I don't know how long this trip was. It was quick to talk about, though.
Unknowable. Yeah. Could have been a week, could have been a day. They don't specify.
Yeah. They're a little concerned about landing the city because they drained a lot of power from the ZPM getting there. They've got to come in at just the right angle in order to not, like, blow up. Whatever. So Shepard's got to go do some special flying while they make sure they don't blow up getting in there.
Yeah.
Getting down. There's the word. Yeah.
Yeah. So he runs to the chair. He tells everyone to buckle in. He's getting feedback from the control room where actually everybody's there. Sam, Dr. Lee, Rodney, Teyla, Ronan, they're all in the control room. Shields are holding so far, so that's looking good. But Rodney says that the angle is too steep. He tells Shepard that he's got to just, lightly touch down. Coming in way too steep. He needs to ease up on the angle of re-entry. Shepard is doing the best that he can. They keep telling him to ease up on the angle. Shepard says he heard them the first time. Again, he's doing what he can. But they're still coming in way too steep. They need to slow down also. But apparently this thing is harder to control than you might think. I would think a flying city would be very hard to control, in fact.
Agreed.
Rodney says we need to touch down gently, like a leaf kissing the surface of a pond.
Very poetic, Rodney.
I'm a leaf on the wind. Watch how I soar.
But that is not at all what happens when the city crashes into the ocean. And everyone is very, very jostled. Radio tells Shepard over the Rodney, nice kissing, but they seem to have all survived.
Yeah, Shepard. Good job.
Yeah. Sam asked Rodney how everything seems to be going. Rodney says the systems all look good, and they've still got plenty of power in the ZPM, and they can drop the shields.
Yay!
Sam tells Shepard that they made it, and they are safely floating on the ocean. Good job.
Good job, guys. Later, Teyla is packing up Dr. Weir's office. Ronan comes in, asks who they think might replace her. Teyla does not know. And Ronan says they have tough shoes to fill, whoever it is. They're both pretty sad about Weir, of course. And then we're in the control room. They dial up the Stargate. Yay, it works. Woo. Sam radios to Stargate Command. Yay, they can hear her. Woohoo!
Yay.
She tells them to report to Landry. They're back on the grid. But Zelenka then says, we're seeing something over here. They've got their long-range scanners working, and they see a massive fleet on them being launched from the replicator planet. But not headed their way, he at least adds.
Yeah.
Which it would be weird if they were headed their way, because they don't know where they are.
Yeah.
They're headed for a Wraith planet, so they think that their plan actually worked.
Excellent.
And the replicators are starting a war with the Wraith. Woohoo!
Woo!
Everything's coming up Atlantis.
Indeed. Sometime later, Shepard is hanging out on the balcony, looking at a couple of moons. Sam comes out to join him and says that there's actually 5, but these are the only 2 that are actually visible. Oh. Shepard says that he heard that Rodney got them reconnected to that intergalactic bridge, so yep, that's working again, and Landry did get their message and was very relieved to hear from them. Then Shepard congratulates Sam because she has been promoted. She is a colonel now. He asks her if she's sticking around, but Sam says nope, that General Landry wants Dr. Lee and her to go back and give a full briefing on everything that has just happened. The Apollo, though, is going to stay here for a while in case they need any extra help. And Shepard thanks her for saving their asses, basically. And she says that it's nothing compared to the bravery and the risks that his team had to take. And she is shocked they were able to pull it off. Landry also sent his condolences for the loss of Dr. Weir. She's still out there, and Shepard isn't giving up on her yet, but he appreciates the sentiment anyway. He hopes that maybe they'll still have a chance of finding her someday. And end of episode.
End of episode.
Did you like the episode?
I think it held my attention pretty well, but in our talking about it, it seems like it was maybe half an episode's worth of stuff, and there was a lot of filler talk.
It was a lot of filler. This ended up being a really short recording, too, because a lot of it was just them giving each other instructions, walking through hallways, troubleshooting. Yeah.
So it was fine. It just didn't feel like a whole episode. How about you?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it, too. It was fast-paced, which helped, at least. It felt like a shorter episode than it actually was when I was watching it. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good overall.
Yeah, I think it's a good note to end on.
Yes, I was about to say, I think it's a good way to end out this series. I was already sad that we're not continuing with the series, and it makes me a little bit more sad that we won't be talking about it, but I will definitely be continuing to watch the rest of the series, even though we won't necessarily be talking about it.
Me too.
Yeah. It's an enjoyable show.
Yeah.
Even though we did have a bunch of shitty episodes last season.
It's true.
I don't remember how much I like season 4 and season 5.
I don't know. I can only, remember like a handful of things here and there because everything just mushes together. And it's been a while.
Indeed. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Since I have watched this
That's
series.
true. It's got to be like at least 6 years at this point since I have not jumped ahead and watched it in the 6 years we've been recording.
Yeah. No, I haven't either.
So yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it is crazy to think we've been doing this for almost 6 years at this
know.
point. I was just thinking about that earlier today.
Wild.
Indeed.
And we're not quite done yet. What are we
are not.
going to be talking about next?
Well, it depends on what we are recording versus what we are actually airing next. So we've decided to give ourselves 2 weeks for the movie because that's going to take a good amount of editing time since it is, of course, longer than a show would be. So the next thing that we are going to be posting is going to be the first episode of Stargate Origins, which is something that we posted on the Patreon-only feed a while back. We'll be reposting that on the main feed. And the first episode of that is young Catherine Langford embarks on an unexpected adventure to unlock the mystery of what lies beyond the Stargate in order to save the Earth from darkness. That is according to IMDb. And over at TVDB, for more than 10 years, Catherine Langford has watched her father labor over the mysterious ringed device in the Egyptian desert back in 1928. With answers eluding them both and funding running out, the Langfords' situation has become desperate. As the professor makes plans to move the ring abroad, Catherine struggles to hold on to her life in Cairo, Egypt. But when mysterious figures show up at their facility late one night, new light is shed on the device in a most sinister way. That is a lengthy description.
It is. It's
worth mentioning Connor Trenier is a prominently featured actor over there, too, playing Professor Langford.
Practically blocked out most of the...
Yeah, it's not a good show. Spoiler alert, not a good show. But we still had fun recovering it.
On the bright side, the episodes are not very long.
Yes, they were not. But yeah, it was fun to cover despite the fact that it was a crappy show. But as far as what we are actually recording, we are going to cover the movie, the first of the 2 Stargate SG-1 movies. So this is going to be Stargate: The Ark of Truth, SG-1 Search. This isn't even a complete sentence either. SG-1 Search for an ancient artifact called the Ark of Truth to finally defeat the Ori. However, the Ark is in the Ori's galaxy. That is TVDB. And over on IMDb, it's the same thing on IMDb.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. SG-1 Search for an ancient artifact called the Ark of Truth to finally defeat the Ori. There's just one problem. The Ark is in the Ori's galaxy.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is what we will be publishing in 2 weeks, but next week we will be posting Origins.
Okay. Origins, then some more Ori, and finally that MacGuffin device that they haven't been able to find for however many episodes will come up.
Yeah.
Be found, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or perhaps they'll never find it.
You never know what might happen.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
Thank you so much for listening to Stargazing with Kathy and Mary. Our fully listener-supported program couldn't be done without you. Show your support by telling everyone you know how awesome this show is. Find us at stargazing.space. Reach us by email, stargazing@gmail.com. Find us on social media at Blue Sky. Get some merch, tinyurl/stargazing. And finally, show your financial support at patreon.com/stargazing. Thank you for traveling through the gate with us. Catch you next time on Stargazing with Kathy and Mary.
I'm Kathy.
I'm Mary.
And you've been listening to Stargazing. The end.
The end.
Woo. Oh, that was really short.
Yeah, it was very short.
So he's got to go stick his head in their heads. Nope. Stick his hand in their heads. So Oberoth sticks his head. No. Oh, I keep doing that.